Hey everyone, today we're picking up with Lesson 2, Day 2 of solving two-step equations. Again, our objective is to solve two-step equations. Please make sure you have a notebook and something to write with, or your Whiteboard app so that you can follow along and work through the problems. As a reminder from our previous session, a two-step equation contains two operations. So here the example, 2x plus 3 equals 7. X is multiplied by 2, and then 3 is added. And to solve the equation, we'll be working through PEMDAS in reverse order. So let's take a look at an example for review. Here we've got the equation 6 minus 3x equals 21. So our first step, I always like to rewrite the equation, and then we have to look at what do we have to add or subtract to get x alone. Right now we've got a positive 6 being added to negative 3x, so we're going to subtract 6 from both sides of the equal sign. These two will cancel. It'll leave us with negative 3x is equal to 15. Now we have to get x alone, so we're going to divide negative 3x by negative 3 and do the same on the right side of the equal sign, and we'll be left with a solution of x equals negative 5. Now to check our solution, we can plug negative 5 in for x. So we would have 6 minus 3 times negative 5 equals 21. And then when we do our simplifying, we'd have 6 minus negative 15. Remember, if you're subtracting a negative, it's like adding a positive. So that would give us 6 plus 15 equals 21. And you can see that we ended up with 21 on both sides of the equal sign. So the sentence is true, and this solution is correct. So now I'd like you to try these three problems and come back and check your answers. So for our first problem, E, we've got 10 minus 2/3 p. So we've got a rational number as our coefficient is equal to 52. First thing we need to do, we're going to subtract 10 from both sides of the equal sign. Get rid of that 10. We're left with negative 2/3 p is equal to 52 minus 10, which is 42. Now we have to multiply both sides by the multiplicative inverse of negative 2 over 3, so that's negative 3 over 2. This side cancels, and we're left with p is equal to, we can do some factoring here. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 42 divided by 2 is 21. 21 times negative 3 would be negative 63 over 1, or just negative 63. For F, we've got negative 19 is equal to negative 3x plus 2. So again, first step, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides of the equal sign. And we're left with negative 21 on the left-hand side of the equal sign equals negative 3x. To get x alone, we're going to divide by negative 3. Negative 21 divided by negative 3 is 7. So we end up with 7 equals x, or x equals 7. And for our last problem, G, we've got n over negative 3 minus 2 equals negative 18. So first we need to add 2 to both sides of the equal sign to get rid of this 2 in the middle. Then we're left with n over negative 3 is equal to negative 18 plus 2 is negative 16. Now to get n alone, we kind of have to remember that there's kind of an unwritten 1 in front of it. So we have to multiply by the multiplicative inverse of negative 1/3. So we're going to use negative 3 over 1. Same on the right-hand side. And this cancels out, so we're left with n is equal to negative 16 times negative 3 is positive 48. And it would be 48 over 1, obviously simplified to 48. So our final answer is n is equal to 48. For example 4, let's take a look at how this works in a word problem. Chicago's lowest recorded temperature in degrees Fahrenheit is negative 27 degrees. Solve the equation negative 27 equals 1.8 C plus 32 to convert degrees to Celsius. So our first step is write the equation. Now we're going to go through the regular solution process. So I've got plus 32 on the right-hand side by the variable, so I'm going to subtract 32 from the right side and the left side of the equal sign. That leaves me with negative 59 is equal to 1.8 C. To To get C alone, I have to divide by 1.8. And again, I do that on both sides of the equal sign. And my final answer is C is approximately negative 32.8. And I'd use the approximately sign because I'm sure this is a longer decimal that we've kind of truncated down to 32.8. So Chicago's lowest recorded temperature is about negative 32.8 degrees Celsius. So for our last bit of practice, I'd like you to try these 4 problems and then come back and check your answers. For problem 1, we've got 6x plus 5 equals 29. And I start the solution process by subtracting 5 from both sides of the equal sign. And I'm left with 6x is equal to 24. Now I'm going to divide by 6. And I end up with my solution is x is equal to 4. For problem 2, I've got 3 minus 5y is equal to negative 37. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides of the equal sign. I'm left with negative 5y is equal to negative 40. Now I need to divide by negative 5 on both sides of the equal sign. And I'm left with y is equal to positive 8 for my solution. For number 3, I've got 2/3 x minus 5 equals 7. I'm going to add 5 to both sides of the equal sign here. Leaves me with 2/3 x is equal to 12. Now to get rid of the 2/3 and get y alone, I have to multiply by the multiplicative inverse, which is 3 over 2. And I do that to both sides. That cancels. I can factor out a 2 here to get 1 and factor out a 2 here to get 6. And I'm left with y is equal to 18 over 1, or just y is equal to 18. Finally, let's try this word problem. Cassidy went to the movies with some of her friends. The tickets cost $6.50 each, and they spent $7.50 on snacks. The total amount paid was $63. Solve the equation 63 equals 650p plus 1750 to determine how many people went to the movies. So we've got our equation, which is 63 is equal to 650p plus 1750. To start the solution process, I'm going to subtract 1750 from each side of the equal sign. This side cancels. And I'm left with 63 minus 1750 is 4550 equals 650p. And now I divide both sides by 650. And my solution is 7. So p equals 7 is my final answer. And I can say 7 people went to the movies. So I hope that this practice went well for you. And once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or stick around after class and I can help you out.